project's called Farm for Future, and it's designed to link consumers and producers in the agricultural sector. So when you go out and buy something from the shop, you can find out who's produced it by typing in a unique code into an online database. I'd quite like to see this project through from a personal interest. I mean, when I go to the shops, I like to know that the produce I buy generally comes from the UK or hasn't travelled too far, but it would be interesting to know personally, and also for the wider community, where things come from, how they're produced, to put you back in touch with the agricultural sector, which a lot of people have lost because of the globalisation of the food market. And also I work at a supermarket and would quite like to see more information on the shelves, letting the consumers know more about the products that they're buying. The award would help the idea because it would cover the opportunity cost of my time spent doing the initial research, working with perhaps locally based delis or small supermarkets to see if the idea can work practically, and on the initial cost of setting up the website and the database.
We have been creating habitat maps for an area in the British uplands from remotely sensed data. We've done that to very good accuracies, to a much higher level of detail than has so far been achieved. So we are working at a level of detail of what's called the national vegetation communities. And that basically has a high level of detail. So instead of just saying this is a heath, it distinguishes it into 22 different heath categories. So a really high level of detail is in there. It came a bit as a byproduct of my PhD, because I'm trying to understand the distribution of threatened bird species, and I want to bring the landscape component into that. So for that I needed a habitat map for a really, really large area, and there wasn't really anything suitable available. So I tried to produce one myself at the beginning with very disappointing results, but eventually with very, very encouraging results. And then I could actually see that we could take it a step further than I wanted it, to a lot more detail, down to NBC level, and so it all happened from there, really. I think that this is a good business idea because it is a very complicated process to create this habitat map. So I think that land managers would rather actually have a consultancy produce these habitat maps rather than want to get involved in producing it themselves. So I think there is, this a potential for a business there. But at the moment we are really not quite ready yet. We are at the sort of development stage. We know it works for the area I have done it, but I think we can actually improve the accuracies further, and we need to see what we need to change when we take it to different areas. So if I would win this award, I think we could have the foundation of doing further development work with these habitat maps, and hopefully manage to get them to a stage when this could actually be rolled out as a business.
My idea is essentially development based. What we're doing here is breaking the aspect of a profit-making enterprise and amalgamating that with a social upliftment cause. So what we get is a profit-based NGO. How this is going to work is creating small or micro economies, as what we call it, of say about 20 to 25 villages, making that into a self-sufficient structure where people are producing with the help of obviously our trading and infrastructure, and trading these goods in order to better their standard of living. The actual idea came to me about a couple of years back when I was a student volunteer in a small village in Madhya Pradesh. We were working as a part of a larger research survey for the NREGA, which is an act by the Government of India, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Interacting with the men, women and children at absolutely the floor level, talking to them about their problems, what exactly are the issues coming about, and are they really getting the benefits of the act or not, which unfortunately in certain areas was not as big a success as the government would have wanted it to be. That, I think, really turned me or steered me to the development and such related issues. The social impact for this particular project will be multi-pronged. Because we are looking at women primarily for the employee base, so gender. We are looking at improving their standard of living and they get to sell the products they produce, so obviously your poverty alleviation. Then we are also looking at this project is very geographically centered because we are creating microeconomies which are going to be region specific. So we are looking at developments of backward regions. So we're really looking at a whole gamut of different kind of critical issues we're trying to solve. If me and 4 of my colleagues tomorrow were to go ahead and do this project, there needs to be some sort of credential, some sort of backing to the claim we're trying to make. So if I have a Leeds University stamp, the fact that Leeds University and top brains and top research minds have accredited the fact that this project is actually worth it and if implemented can solve these many problems, I think if I go back to my network, be it the Leeds University alumni, be it my college alumni, I would be able to extract at least their attention in order to get the seed funding. So I think that is really important for this project.
Over the last 25 years, food production worldwide has doubled, but the land available in which to grow the food has only increased by 10% over the same period. So there's an increasing number of reports coming out saying that there's a food security issue. The idea itself is to heat greenhouse crops, specifically tomato plants, using microwave energy. But in order to meet global food demand, if there's no land becoming available, we need to increase the productivity of the current areas that we use at the moment. And using greenhouse agriculture, you can get up to 10 times the yield for tomatoes, for example, than you would otherwise get if you grew them in a field. And not only that, you can use much less pesticide, up to 15 times less, and up to 15 times less water by using greenhouse or sheltered cropping. In Northern Europe as a whole, the greenhouse industry is quite substantial. And it's a big user of energy. In the Netherlands alone, up to 3% of their greenhouse emissions is purely from the greenhouse sector. From an economic side, growing tomato plants is the biggest expense in doing it. The biggest cost is the energy. It's up to 50% of the production costs are in the energy. And if you can reduce that even by a small amount, there's massive cost savings. And I think that if using the microwaves, you can potentially save up to half of the energy. So it's a significant saving. Winning the award would benefit me and the project because it would provide a much needed credibility for the idea, with it being such an abstract idea to many people. The award and the publicity would perhaps allow me to attract contributions from other people. So I'd like to make it a collaborative project in the long run, with it being multidisciplinary, the problem.